Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into it with the story of Captain Mosey.
Yeah, from the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, we're using Mosey's Gospel Pastafarian perspective as our guide here.
Exactly. And our mission really is to figure out why Mosey is such a big deal. The first pirate apparently touched by the FSM's noodly appendage.
Right, and how that whole pirate connection got started in Pastafarianism, it all seems to trace back to him.
So before all the pirate stuff, Mosey was just a short order cook.
Pretty much. Working in a diner, apparently quite skilled, the text mentions him boasting about his papyrus on rye.
Ah, yeah, and his deep frying skills. Even then, maybe a hint of the pirate swagger.
Maybe. Maybe. And, even details like the deep fryer, you wonder if that's sort of foreshadowing the beer volcanoes they talk about in their heaven.
Oh, interesting connection. But yeah, like a lot of us, he wasn't exactly thrilled with his boss, Phil.
No, definitely not. Which leads to that pivotal moment.
The big declaration. Shiver me timbers! I quit. I'm going to become a pirate! Just like that.
Yeah, that suddenness is really interesting. It feels like a calling, almost. Though the text does nod to other origin stories, too.
Right, like him being a sea cook's son, or seeing the FSM after some bad noodles. It shows how these stories can, shift over time.
Exactly. It acknowledges that fluidity.
Yeah.
But focusing on this main version, the flying spaghetti monster itself gets involved.
Because Phil was mistreating the cooks.
That seems to be the catalyst. The FSM wasn't pleased, establishes the FSM as this sort of intervening figure looking out for the little guy.
And the FSM talks to Mosey through a perfectly roasted marshmallow in the desert.
Yes. It's that blend of the divine and the, well, slightly absurd. Very characteristic.
And the instruction is basically free the cooks, maybe start a pasta place. Olive Garden gets a mention.
It keeps it light, doesn't it? Makes the divine encounter feel less intimidating, more accessible, maybe.
But Phil, being Phil, refuses to pay the cooks properly.
Which triggers the plagues. And they are quite spectacular.
Oh, yeah. Spaghetti sauce rain, linguine hail, and that terrible song on repeat.
Kid Abyssinia, apparently. I'm the Makita daddy. Sounds, torturous.
Definitely. And this is where Pastover comes from, right? Put sauce on your doorpost, you're spared.
Precisely. It's that playful take on the Exodus narrative. Familiar structure, very different details.
Then Phil gives chase, falls into a red puddle of sauce.
And becomes a colossal meatball. A very, fitting end given the context.
So Mosey leads his followers out, and then dried pasta falls from the sky.
Manna from heaven, Pastafarian style. A sign of the FSM's continued support.
Their goal now is Mount Salsa, to find a pirate ship. Makes sense, given his declaration.
Although the FSM apparently clarifies later that, pirates generally belong on the sea, not necessarily up a mountain looking for a ship.
A minor logistical point, maybe. Then we get to the commandments. Or rather
I'd really rather you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10 sacred stone tablets were given.
But they weren't called that originally. The cooks suggested condiments.
They did. And the FSM went with Mosey's suggestion, the I'd really rather you didn't. Again, that playful, less dogmatic approach.
And then Mosey, in a classic move, drops and breaks 2 of them.
Which conveniently explains why there are only 8, and why the moral standards are, let's say, more relaxed, focused on tolerance, reason. Basically, don't be a jerk.
So that really cements Mosey as the first pirate prophet. He's the inspiration for the whole pirate regalia and speech.
Absolutely. And the source mentions hints of a future chosen linguine, too. Keeps the story going.
What about those other stories? Like Mosey being crucified by a Roman named Caesar.
The text frames those as likely inaccuracies, maybe distortions, or even tests of faith, much like how other religions handle conflicting historical accounts.
Gotcha. So Mosey's legacy is huge within Pastafarianism. First pirate prophet.
And he gets a prime spot in their heaven, apparently. Beer volcanoes, friendly strippers, or paint strippers, the text is ambiguous.
Right. He's the symbol of faith, courage, following the FSM. So wrapping up, what should you listening take away from this?
Well, maybe think about how this deliberately humorous, almost absurd origin story, a pirate, a flying spaghetti monster, pasta plagues, how it uses that humor to make you think about faith itself.
Like questioning authority, questioning where beliefs come from.
Exactly. And maybe suggesting the importance of not always taking everything quite so seriously. It's a faith that seems built around questioning and satire right from its foundational story.